So if you're a Nintendo fan like I am myself, you're probably very excited about the recent Nintendo Direct that went over the Nintendo Museum. You're now very eager to learn about how can you get there, where is it, what can you do, what can you buy perhaps. So this video is going to go over the Nintendo Museum, and hopefully when you watch it all, you'll be ready to go and plan your trip to visit the Nintendo Museum here in Japan. So we'll browse over to the official website. There's a really nice website in both English and Japanese for the Nintendo Museum. Has all the details there. Will probably be most of this video, but I'll explain the key points, highlight them for you, so you don't have to go through the website yourself. So the first thing is actually at the bottom of this site. There's a picture of the museum there, by the way. It looks very nice. It's actually built on one of Nintendo's plants in Kyoto, Japan. So it's not in Tokyo. You might think Tokyo has everything, but actually Nintendo is headquartered in Kyoto. One of their former plants slash warehouses houses was in Kyoto. They repurposed it into this lovely new museum. As you can see here, it's going to open on October 2nd this year, 2024. So it's not open yet. This is August 20th. They're doing this video. So you got a little bit of time if you're watching it right away, but it's not open for the public just yet. But it looks really awesome, as you can see in these pictures here. We'll pop down to the bottom really quick. So there's a nice little Google map link to where the museum is. It says here in Kyoto, the Ogura Station. You might not even heard of the station. It's actually quite in the suburbs of Kyoto. So if we go to the Google map link, I open up here, and let's just say, zoom out here. So Kyoto, the main part of Kyoto that most people visit, like Kiyomizu-dera, the temples and everything, is actually up here. So a little bit of a trip. For example, if we put in Kyoto Station as our start, which I would assume most people traveling would bundle a visit to Kyoto and this museum. It's about 35 minutes or so to get there. You got two options. So it's not hard. It's one train ride, as you can see here, for the most part, but it's a little bit far from all the main Kyoto sites downtown Kyoto. So you're not going to be right there if you're in Kyoto Station. Your hotels or whatever, most likely you're staying in downtown Kyoto if you're visiting, but you're not going to be right by the museum. Again, it's in a kind of a more suburban area of Kyoto. One thing to note while we're here also about the Nintendo Museum, we can zoom in a little bit here, not too much going on there. There's no parking of any kind in the area. So they really suggest, even on the official website, if you do visit the museum, make sure you use public transportation. Again, if you're visiting from a foreign country, you probably don't have a car anyway, but there's no parking on site. So you're going to have to take the train or a bus, or if you want a bike all the way from Kyoto as well, you can do so. But they'd recommend no cars because there's no parking available on site. So that's where it is. It's not too hard to get to. Again, if you're doing a Japan trip, you're probably going to be in Kyoto anyway. Open from, as you can see here, from 10 to 6 each day. Closed on Tuesdays, and also the very popular New Year holiday period. If Tuesday's a holiday, the next day it'll be open on that day. Will be closed on the Wednesday or the next day following as well. So not hard to get to, but make sure you don't try and go on a Tuesday, for example. So now, how do you get tickets to the museum? Well, there's a very handy link there, reserve tickets. So there is probably going to be a cap on how many people can go each day to the museum. Obviously, it would be jam-packed if they had no kind of limits. So right now it's August. They're taking entries for October and November tickets. So if you're trying to get to other popular spots like the Pokemon Cafe, Kirby Cafe, Ghibli Museum, a lot of them have lotteries for tickets these days. So it's no change here for the Nintendo Museum. So you click on the site. You'll need to make a Nintendo account. It's free. If you play Nintendo games, you probably have a Nintendo account anyway, so it's not hard to do so. But reserve a ticket. You reserve all the instructions they give you. You'll pick a day, so either October or November for right now. As we get further on, of course, you'll have more options for December, January, what have you. They'll kind of do it in batches, so you can't reserve super in advance. Maybe 2 months or so in advance, 2-3 months, but you'll be able to put your name in there. When you pick a day, we'll just say like Wednesday, for example. You'll get a list of how many people are entered for that given entry time. So you're going to pick a day plus a time of entry. So obviously, if you come later in the day, it's going to be not as many people because you can't enjoy as much time at the museum. If you're worried about that, if you're coming during peak time, for example, it'll be busy. The weekends, as you can see there, people want to get there as soon as possible. I don't think there's any rules about you have to leave after a certain point. So once you're in, you're in. You can spend the whole day there if you want to. but obviously people want to get there early, so it's kind of a risk. You know, do you want to go for a better time slot but not get a ticket, or go for a less popular time, go on the weekday or end of the day, but not be able to spend that much time? That is your personal call, but you'll have an idea of, again, how busy a time slot is for a given day when you apply. And you can pick the 3 preferred dates and times for your entry. So you can't put a bunch of entries. You're gonna have to, you know, put in there. And I'm assuming they run the lottery, looks like, on September 1st. So you'll pick 3 days among the 2 months here and hope for the best. So drawings occur once per month. So maybe, I don't know for sure, they might do only like single months going forward, maybe just because it's, you know, the first couple months of doing 2 at a time. We'll see if they change in the future, but again, you only get to enter once per month for whatever month is up for reservations. So if you get the tickets, it's all good. You'll get an email from Nintendo to your email link to your Nintendo account, and you'll be used to scan in when you get to the museum. Now, some things to note about the tickets: the price. It's not a free museum, unfortunately. And it's a little pricey, you can see here. 3,300 yen for adults. Kids 12 to 17, 2. Kids 6 to 11 are there for 1,100, and then if you're 0 to 5, you come in for free. So it's not a free museum. You're paying a little bit for the experience, but again, if you're a fan, it's kind of the place you want to be. Remember the operating hours beforehand. They go through the plan again of entry, issue the codes into the museum. We'll talk a little bit about the craft and play workshops a little bit later in the video. There is help for if you have special needs, so accessibility is definitely a big part of the museum experience. You'll be able to get around if you need some extra assistance. And as you can see here, there's a lot of good information on the website as well. Free coin lockers, free Wi-Fi. I believe payment methods, they accept everything from like credit cards to Suica cards if you have them, so don't worry about, they'll take all your digital methods of payment as well here. It's not a super big museum. I mean, again, it used to be a factory/warehouse, so there's not going to be like, you know, a huge space, but it is very nice. You'll see a lot of it in the Nintendo Direct video, a lot of fun things to do, so you'll have a good time. It probably won't take the whole day, but you'll get a good amount of time while you're there. Yeah, 2 main floors, not, again, super big. You can do, I would say, maybe half a day if you are very quick about it here. So some of the FAQs, I just want to highlight a few things. What do you need? Again, I think you need a Nintendo account. Of course, a credit card to purchase. Full names of all visitors. So it is worth noting that they do check identification when you go to the museum. So you're going to put your name of all the visitors. And I believe for foreign, I think it's one of these links here, for foreign visitors, non-residents, you'll need to use your passport. I think passport is the only acceptable ID they take there. So no licenses from your home country, student IDs. It's got to be a passport if you're visiting from a foreign country, I believe. I think that's, I wanted to highlight the passport thing, but I think that was one of the rules they have here too. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah. So ID documents here, yeah, non-Japanese nationals, register their passport. It's a little interesting, off the top of my head, for non-Japanese nationals who live in Japan, who are residents. I wonder if that's the same rule. We'll see. We'll find out probably more as we learn more about the museum. But if you're visiting from a foreign country, yeah, I mean, you should have your passport with you anyway to begin with. And again, as it says there in red, it's the only accepted form of ID for non-Japanese nationals, probably including residents there too. So make sure you bring your passport with you to the museum. Don't leave it at the hotel, and come with your QR code and hope you can get in. So yeah, I think, again, the name checking thing is also part of the reason you can't transfer tickets, so you can't buy tickets for someone else. It is attached to your name, and they'll check at the door when you come in. That's to prevent ticket reselling, obviously, for the tickets. So that's all about how to get in, where it is. Let's talk about the fun stuff. Now, what can you do at the museum? There's a lot of good stuff here. Again, they'll talk a little bit about how it used to be a plant of toy manufacturing. Now it's a nice museum. I definitely recommend watching the Direct if you haven't yet. They go into a lot more detail about some hands-on experience about what you can do there. But there's some good information. We'll look at the exhibits here really quick. So when you enter, you get they call it 10 coins. I believe it's on a card or some kind of thing. So these 10 coins, you use these coins to basically pay for the exhibits you can play with, the interactive exhibits. And one thing you should know, as you say here, You can't do everything with just the 10 coins you get when you enter. And you can't buy more coins at the museum. Your entry gets you 10 coins, that's all you get, unless you go again in the future. So it's kind of a sneaky way for Nintendo to maybe get more money from you. So you kind of gotta make sure you know what you want to do when you go in. They haven't released how many coins each event or exhibit is yet. I'm sure they'll come very soon, so just keep an eye out for that. But you can't, unfortunately, do every single exhibit at the museum in one trip. You might need 2 or 3, depending on how much they cost. So if you didn't know, Nintendo originally started as a playing card maker. They actually made Hanafuda cards. It's a playing card game here in Japan. So this is kind of a takeoff of that. This isn't Hanafuda per se, but it's again harking to Nintendo's card origins, where you kind of read poems and try and find a matching a matching card on the floor. So you'll use a smart device to try and find, there'll be some kind of special card you have to find on the ground, and you look for it for the card. And they said even if you don't speak Japanese, you can just match the pictures and try and find the card on the floor. So you can be doing this with other people on the I guess the floor there, and trying to be the first to find the target card there for this game. If you remember the NES Zapper and the Super Scope, you can use those peripherals. NES was Super Scope was Super Nintendo. NES had the Zapper to basically shoot things on a big screen there. A lot of fun there. Up to 13 people at a time can play, so you're going to do your best to try and be the best shooter or bazooker there as well. Because the Super Scope is back in action. I really enjoyed playing that when I was a kid there. Ultra Machine is one of Nintendo's old toys. It's a pitching machine made for indoor use. They play it in the Nintendo Direct. Basically, it just shoots ping pong balls at you, and you can use this nice little plastic bat to fire at things in a little bedroom setting, because you're supposed to play with it inside. And I think if you hit special things on the wall there, Mario might move or pictures might light up. So it's kind of a target practice to hit basically ping pong balls at a wall there too. Ultra Hand SP, again, one of Nintendo's fun toys there. You're supposed to grab balls that move along the path there and then drop it into the pipe. So again, enjoying one of Nintendo's claw grabber toys there. They have the Love Chester experience there too. So if you're coming on a date, you're going to definitely try that out and see how high your love level is with your date in tow. Game & Watch, I think, is making a bit of a comeback these days. You can play basically a big-sized Game & Watch on the screen. No longer that tiny little thing in your pocket. You're going to play on it on the screen there. So good luck with that one. It's a very fun game there. Of course, if you just want to play old Nintendo games, Nintendo NES, Super Nintendo, and N64 games will be on hand if you want to try your hand at that while you were there for 1 to 2 players. And I think, again, one of the other big things they played in Nintendo Direct was the big controller, where you're basically playing on big, huge NES, Super Nintendo, I guess Famicom per se, 64. I think there was actually even a Wiimote you played with as well to play, just basically do challenges of popular Nintendo games. And again, it's definitely for 2 people. You can't play by yourself, so you're going to have to bring a friend or make a friend at the exhibit, because you're going to need both both sets of hands to basically deal with these controllers there too. So it's definitely a fun one, the big controller. I think this will be a very popular one when people get to the museum. Aside from the exhibits, you can also do some crafts as well. So you can, again, as I said, Nintendo made Hanafuda cards. You can make Hanafuda cards of your own. About an hour. It does cost extra in top of the entry fee there. So, but they'll give you a special kit, and you basically just paint your own special Hanafuda cards. Or you can even try playing Hanafuda yourself. 30 minutes is there for 500 yen per person, and you can try the game. It's again a very traditional Japanese game. It's not just Nintendo. Other people in Japan make those cards too, and give a shot at one of Nintendo's original products there. So after all the fun that you've had, what else can you do? You can go to the cafe. The full menu is not open yet, but it looks like they are hyping up their custom hamburgers. Over 270,000 combinations of hamburgers I guess you can make there. And special drinks and sides. We'll find out what they have there in a few days to come. And also some vegetarian options as well. That's good to know that they're helping those in special needs. And the shop, of course, all the good stuff you can buy. Again, we don't have any information about the official shop goods just yet, but expect Nintendo Museum only stuff for sale here. We'll hear more about it in the days to come. So that is pretty much the Nintendo Museum right now in a nutshell. We expect to probably hear more about it in the days and weeks to come leading up to the opening. So good luck to you if you're going to try and find tickets. I expect it'll be very, how should I say, competitive to find tickets here too. So I myself will try my best to get into Kyoto at some point. I mean, I'm not too far away from there, but again, a quick reminder, it's not in Tokyo. You gotta get to Kyoto to see the museum where Nintendo is headquartered for sure. But if you're interested in the museum at all, if there's any exhibits, let me know in the comments what you want to do, try, see. When are you gonna go? Hopefully you'll bundle it with a nice Japan trip to go. I would love to hear more about what you're excited to do at the Nintendo Museum and what you hope it's going to be there too. So again, if you're coming to the channel for the first time, make sure to like, subscribe if you want to. I'll be doing whenever I can just videos about traveling Japan, being in Japan, exploring Japan. And if you have any ideas for videos that you want me to do coming up, definitely leave me a note and I'll do what I can. So thank you for watching and good luck and enjoy the Nintendo Museum in Kyoto.